Oh, Angry Ange here with Fix Your Fucking House. Today, I'm going to show you how to spackle some walls. I've been doing my wine cellar, and it has no heat, and I've been waiting for somewhat of a warm night to start. But it seems like this is going to be the most warmest night I'll get. Beginning of March, and still be winter and all. But let's fucking go. I'll show you what we need to do. Fucking cold in here. Can't believe I live in New York. Alright, let's just go over some materials we're going to need for this project. You're going to need a pre-made joint compound, dust controlled I like to use. It's always with the blue cap if you're looking for it. It's a little less dusty, but I like using it. And also, we have to mix or knead whatever one you want to do, the compound. Stay tuned to the end of the video and I'll show you how to do that. Then we're going to use two types of tape. We're going to have the mesh tape and the paper tape. If you only want to use one, make sure you get the paper tape, and you'll see why in the video. Then for the outside corners, we're going to use the metal corner bead, and I'll show you how to install that. Moving on to tools. Some tools we're going to need is we're going to need 3 different sizes of spackle knives. I have a 6, a 12, a 10, and a 14. Next, we got a mud pan, which will hold your compound. People also reference to compound as mud, so learn that fast. Then you have a hawk. These 2 items will be in lieu of how you actually mix or knead the compound, and you'll see that at the end of the video. Then we have a metal bead crimper and mallet. We have 2 different sanding blocks. We have one with a screen that helps you get off the large materials and thick materials, and then a smaller block that helps you smooth everything out and get rid of all the sand lines. Then you have a drill with a drill attachment to help you mix the mud or compound. I'll show you that at the end of the video. That's pretty much it. These are all the tools you probably need for this project. Do yourself a favor. Don't buy cheap shit. It ain't worth it. I'm telling you right now. Don't buy the plastic stuff. Don't use those old plastic or compound knives. They're not like what they are now. Spend the money on good quality shit. This stuff will last you a lifetime if you treat them right. So that being said, let's get into doing the work. All right, the first thing you want to do is assess the situation. You want to make sure your seams are tight, make sure the sheetrock isn't overhanging, and make sure all the screw heads are in. What you want to do is, if your seams aren't tight, you want to infill with compound before you put the tape on. If you don't do so, the tape could fall apart and fall off. So what I'm using over here is a mesh tape. It's a little adhesive at the end so it can stick to the sheetrock. It's all you need to put it on. And then what we'll do is we'll mud over it. Once you get the tape on the wall, what you want to do is take your spackle knife and press the tape on the wall. This helps you when you start mudding that you don't pull the tape back off. This is very important. So at this point, you're ready to apply your mud. Stay tuned to the end of the video and I'll show you how to prep your ready-made mud. Yeah, that's right. It ain't really ready-made. So at this point, you're ready to apply your mud. So after I decide to get my act together over here, I'll show you how it's done. You want to take a little on your knife and you want to apply it firmly against the wall. What you want to do is you want to infill the mesh tape completely. For you, infilling the mesh tape will help it bond to the wall. Now take your time with this. It's a little difficult at first. You'll be dropping it all over the place, all over yourself. Don't worry. Tell your wife you can wash this, no problem. Wear your nice shoes if you want. Just make sure you don't tell your wife. So after that, what I like to do is take a larger knife and I like to wipe as much as possible off. The key is to keep your knives clean and keep the wall as clean as possible. If you get a little bit of dry marks or a little bit of dry compound on the knives, it's a disaster, trust me. Wipe them as many times as you possibly can. So at this point, we're moving into the inner corner. What I like to use is the paper. The paper is a lot easier than the mesh. The mesh is kind of like falls apart, doesn't get you a nice corner. So what I like to do is measure it out, pre-measure everything, and cut it. I like to keep an inch away from the ceiling and an inch away from the floor. So once you measured it out, you can go now and infill the compound. Once again, it's another difficult task. Once you keep doing it, you'll understand the technique and figure it out. So you go around, you infill the whole entire corner as best as possible. Remember, you want to put some mud on there because you want to be able to take it off later. So here I go. So once you finish applying all the mud, you put the tape into the corner, and I like starting from the corner out. Push the tape into the corner as much as possible. This is key. And make sure it's firmly in there. And then you start pulling away from you. And you want to press. You want to pull all the compound back out to make it a nice seal. This is very important because if you don't do this, your tape could come peeling up. And then you got to do pretty much the whole process all over again. So take your time here. It's a little different than the mesh tape, but I think this works a lot better in corners. So outside corners are completely different. Outside corners, what we do is we put metal corner beads on. Metal corner beads go on to help you save the corner, essentially. People are going to be bumping into it. Furniture is going to hit it. A whole bunch of shit's going to hit this thing. The metal helps that and protects it. So this is a metal corner bead crimper. What it does is it's going to bend the metal in the drywall to help it hold it so you could spackle it. This ain't like the old school way where you put nails and screws in it to hold it. That's all bullshit anyway. Do this. You're going to have to whack this thing pretty hard. Just like Joe Pesci whacked Billy Bats in Goodfellas. That cocksucker deserved it for telling him to go get his shine box. So hit this a few times, you should be fine. So now after, what I like to do, which is not necessary, but I like to put the mesh tape on the edges of the corner bead. I don't know why I do it, but I do it. So just fucking listen to me. I do on both sides, make it looking nice. Once again, same thing with the horizontals. Press it down, then you apply the mud. Same concept. Apply the mud, fill in all the mesh, and that's pretty much it. So I didn't show you the whole taping of this corner, but at this point you guys should be professionals, so you guys should know how this works. Same concept as the inner walls, the horizontal joints, everything's the same. Take the larger knife and then you try to pull off as much as possible. This is your first base. I'm going to coat some of this throughout. Inner, outer, horizontal, and vertical seams. You do the 3 bases because you want a nice transition between the joints and the sheetrock. So now we're getting ready to do the second and third base. Second and third base are going to be the same. What you want to do is apply a thin layer throughout, getting wider and wider. And then what I like to use is my largest knife and try to pull off as much as possible. Why you go wider is because you want to make the subtle transition between the joint and the sheetrock. Remember, keep your knives clean. See, that's dirty. Don't ever use that knife. Don't listen to me. Do as I say, not as I do. Once you finish all 3 coats, now it's time for sanding. I like to start with a sanding screen of 100 grit to get majority of the crap off the walls. This helps you if we're a little sloppy. This gets off majority of the stuff. Then I like to follow up with the sanding block, a little smoother to smooth out the joint so it doesn't look so harsh. Then I like to feel the wall to make sure I got all the imperfections out. I also like to take a light and hold it at an angle to the wall to see if I can see any imperfections. And if I do, I address it accordingly. That's pretty much it. Take your time, enjoy it. Remember, keep your knives clean, keep everything clean, and wear a mask during the sanding part. It gets a little crazy. So there's 2 ways of prepping your compound. They're both called kneading. I don't know why, but it ain't like we're making pizza around here. But what you want to do is you want to take your hawk and you want to take your spackle knife, and what you want to do is you want to fold it into each other. You fold it into each other several times, move it around on the tray. What you want to do is you want to take all the air pockets out of the compound, because once you apply it to the wall, you'll start seeing air pockets and you'll never get them out unless you fill them in. So what you want to do is you want to work with a nice smooth texture compound. I'll wait until the end after I decide to finish here. You'll see what I'm talking about. I have a compare and contrast. See, compared to what just came out of the bucket compared to what I just needed, you could tell the difference. One looks nice and silky smooth, the other one looks like it's shungad and stuff. My personal favorite is just taking a drill with an attachment and just spinning the whole bucket. This is the easiest and quickest way of getting all the air pockets out. Now, obviously, depending on how much is in the bucket, you might have to be doing it a little bit longer. But I recommend this way. It's so much easier. So much time is saved. This is the way to go.